The room looks like any other intensive care ward. A silent man, inactive screens, and 2 researchers keeping watch. Then a childlike melody appears where no speaker is running, not in the air, but inside the listener's minds. One researcher tries to laugh the instant off in private, thinking that anyone trapped in bed might sing just to fill the time. The thought does not stay private, and that is the first proof that ordinary inner speech has stopped belonging to one person. A reply cuts across the shared silence at once. The song is not coming from SCP-041, and the patient claims not to know the tune. In a room built around one motionless body, the most alarming fact is suddenly the presence of another mind somewhere in the exchange. Kent turns pale because the incident does not end as a curiosity. It becomes evidence of a second unknown source inside the exchange. Foundation records only that it happened after SCP-039 entered a chemically induced coma, and any connection remains unconfirmed. SCP-041 is a male human left with irreversible central nervous system damage after infection by a rare strain of bacterial meningitis. Antibiotics cleared the bacteria, but too late to prevent the membranes around his brain and spinal cord from severing vital neural links. To sight alone, SCP-041 appears to be in a persistent vegetative state.
He continues to live only through mechanical support, a respirator for breathing, a biventricular pacemaker for cardiac rhythm, and a nasogastric tube for nutrition.
SCP-041 is housed at Bioresearch Area 12, not because it is classed as Keter, but because broader propagation would make confidential thought impossible to contain. The Foundation treats him as a hospitalized patient whose radius could still turn private SCP knowledge into public exposure. Personnel who want to keep their thoughts private are instructed to remain outside a 15-meter radius from SCP-041. In practice, the rule becomes a red circle on the floor, a visible boundary around an otherwise motionless. Foundation keeps a sitter in the room, not only for supervision, but for SCP-41's mental health. By concentrating on television, that sitter allows him to experience programming secondhand through another person's mind. The ideal sitter is a Class D with below-average intelligence and a mind that does not branch in too many directions at once. SCP-041 cannot control thought outright, but he can still pressure a sitter into watching programs the sitter would never choose alone. Within roughly 10 meters of SCP-041, thoughts formed in words stop feeling private. Everyone in that radius begins hearing their own mental speech alongside everyone else's, and SCP-041 is broadcasting into the same exchange. The anomaly does not sound like a single external broadcast. Mind-audible speech is heard in whatever voice a subject normally uses to think, and under ordinary conditions, it cannot be captured by no recording equipment. Visual thought can also be transmitted, but much less reliably than words.
The best results come when both people close their eyes. The sender holds to a single object without background.
Image-based communication breaks down because the sender cannot hold every detail from a single point of view, and the receiver fills in whatever is missing. The hardest image to share cleanly is a human face in motion, where substitution overwhelms accuracy almost at once. SCP-041 is not talkative and has provided no useful explanation of his abilities.
Yet the occasional mental interjection shows both awareness and a sense of humor, which may be even more unsettling than total silence.
Addendum 01 records a narrow exception to the earlier rule about failed recording. While a researcher took voice notes and another changed the television through static, disembodied voices seemed to ride the white noise in filtered fragments. Further attempts with white noise generators produce only modest, garbled results that may or may not contain voices. What the Foundation records more clearly is Stein's anger when personnel start using SCP-041 as a childish test of private affection around a potentially world-destroying anomaly. SCP-041 remains a hospitalized safe-class patient, but his current containment still depends on distance, privacy, and carefully managed access.
The red perimeter, the isolated ward, and the sitter routine are not comforts alone. They are the structure keeping involuntary thought sharing from spreading further.
SCP-041 does not threaten the Foundation by standing up or breaking free. It threatens the boundary between private thought and shared knowledge, and even the case's one temporal link to SCP-239 remains only a note of timing, not a solved explanation.